All right, guys, we're going to do chapter 8 here. Let me go ahead and fix this. Chapter 8 of A Perfect Mistake. Monday may be a vacation day because of Rosh Hashanah, but Shelly and I still have chores, which means we're arguing about cleaning our bathroom. Mom and Dad have their own bathroom, and Shelly and I share the hall bath, which means we share cleaning it too. It should be illegal to share a bathroom with an 11-year-old boy, Shelly says. Her arms are crossed. There's no way I'm cleaning that toilet. Not it. Then you have to do the bathtub. Nuh-uh, I did the bathtub last time. Not it. You have to do one of them. Mom said so. You can't say not it to everything. Shelly scowls. Mom said what? Dad calls from the office where he's working on his granola proposal. Mom said I need to be ready to meet the tutor at 11, so there's no way I can clean our bathroom right now, Shelly shouts to him. That's not fair, I shout back. Shelly laughs. Life isn't fair. Just because you're a super nerd doesn't mean you get out of cleaning the bathroom. She laughs again, and I wind up to flick her with the toilet brush, but then the front door slams and Mom's work heels click up the stairs. Would you two stop bickering, please? I could hear you all the way outside. Our neighbors do not need to hear about how filthy your bathroom is. Test me on this, and you can clean the kitchen, too. She steps into the bathroom doorway and fixes an eye on Shelly. But the tutor, it takes 5 minutes to clean a toilet, Mom says. Get it done. Shelly glares at me and I hand her the toilet brush, which makes her bite her fist and let out a muffled scream. And now I'm the one who's laughing. It's a pain squeezing into the tiny bathroom together, but I stand in the tub while I scrub it and Shelly holds her nose while she cleans the toilet. I circle the tub, but I can't remember where I started, so I do it twice to be sure. We're almost at the part where Shelly and I argue about whose turn it is to vacuum the hair off the bathroom floor when the doorbell rings. I'll get it, Shelly shouts, but Mom cuts her off in the hall. Don't even think about it, she says, and Shelly slinks back inside. Loser, I whisper. I hate you, she grumbles, but she doesn't mean it, at least not any more than I do. Max, Mom calls. Can you come down here, please? You too, Tim. You have got to be kidding me, Shelly says, and I race out of the bathroom before she could poke me in the side. I'm still laughing as I slide down the banister into the hall. When I turn the corner into the living room, the laughter dies in my throat. There's a young black woman in the living room. She's wearing a long tan coat and a shiny badge on a beaded chain necklace. I recognize her from the hospital. Max, you remember Detective Sherman, right? Mom says. Hi, Max, the detective smiles, but her voice is serious. I have a few more questions for you. It shouldn't take long. Mom sits on the couch and signals to me to sit beside her, so I do. Detective Sherman takes the chair opposite us. Dad walks into the living room a second later. When he sees Detective Sherman, his smile fades. What's going on? He takes a seat next to me, filling the couch the rest of the way. We're squished together like a can of sardines, but right now that feels good. Hello, Mr. Greenberg, Detective Sherman says. The Schwartz family have asked us to check with Max again in case he remembers anything new. Mom hasn't mentioned how Will was when they saw him at the hospital yesterday. I wonder if this is why. Do Will's parents think I'm lying? Do they think I hurt Will? It's okay, honey. They're just double-checking everything, Mom says, but she doesn't sound sure. Like she doesn't know if I'm telling the truth either. Detective Sherman opens her little flip pad. During our initial interview, you stated that you came straight home from the roundhouse early on Monday morning. Did you stop anywhere else along the way? No, I just ran home. Can you recall any other details? The time? Anyone you saw on the street? I look down at my fidget ring. All I can remember is being scared out of my mind. No. Detective Sherman gives me a pity smile and my stomach goes sour. Maybe if I didn't have ADHD, I'd be able to remember things like this better. I wish I could control my brain, but as much as some memories are seared into my mind, others disappear from me. Will had water in his lungs, I blurt out. And Detective Sherman goes still. Where did you hear that? She smiles like everything's normal, but I can tell by the tone in her voice that my answer really matters here. Samantha Bovella. I see. Detective Sherman watches me for a few seconds. Are you aware of any reason that Will might have gone to the pond next to Brookside Drive? A jolt of surprise runs through me. We never go there. It's too far away, and Will's mom said we shouldn't be by the road. There's too much traffic. Oh my God. Mom covers her mouth with her hand. Dad wraps an arm around each of us. Dread pools in my gut. Did he fall into the pond? The detective's face softens. Will's clothing was damp when Miss Barrington brought him to the hospital, she says. We have not determined why at this time. Have you heard anything else, Max? I shake my head. There's nothing else I can tell her. If I knew what happened to Will, I would spill it in a heartbeat. I should have never left him there. No, Detective Sherman says. It was the right choice to leave, Max. It's the same thing Mom said in the hospital, but I'm not sure I believe it. I woke up to Mom shaking my shoulder in the dark. At first, I thought I was dreaming. I didn't know where I was. Everything was backward and upside down. Max, wake up, Mom said. I sat up and realized I was at home, lying on top of my comforter, with my head at the wrong end of the bed and my dirty clothes and sneakers still on. Mom grabbed me and hugged me. I didn't know you came home, she said. Her body heaved like she was trying not to cry. I'm so glad you're okay. Mom, what's wrong? It's Will, she said. Will's in the hospital. Somehow I got up and we drove to the hospital. It was barely light out and everything was a blur until we stepped through the automatic doors to the emergency room, into bright lights, past busy people in blue and green scrubs, and down a long hall to a waiting room where we found Will's mom, pacing, her eyes red from crying. What happened to him? She asked me. I don't know. They're keeping him sedated, she said. They think he has a head injury. He can't even open his eyes. Her voice cracked. Mom tried to hug her, but Mrs. Schwartz pushed her away. No, Emily, I need to hear it from Max. How did Will get hurt? What happened to him? My stomach churned. I thought of Jared screaming in my face, and cold, heavy shame snaked through me. I was twice Will's size. They expected me to look out for him. I convinced Will to go to the roundhouse. Then something terrible happened to him, and I wasn't even there to help. When did you come home, honey? Mom asked. You went home? Will's mom said. Why? We went to the roundhouse. You went to the res, Mom said, at night? Will's mom stared at me in horror. What did you do? I'm trying to tell you, I shouted. Tears pressed at my eyes. We went to the res. Will didn't want to go, but we made him. I got scared and ran home. I don't know what happened after that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for Will to get hurt. Tears ran down my face as Will's mom broke into fresh sobs. You shouldn't have gone out, but you were right to come home, Mom said, wrapping her arms around me. We'll figure out what happened to Will, I promise. The kitchen door slams and Cal's whistle fills the awful silence in the living room. He strolls in from the hall and stops dead in his tracks when he sees us. This is Detective Sherman, Mom says. The detective smiles. And who are you? She asks. Cal's face is pale beneath his stubble. I'm Cal. Full name, please? Mom gives Cal a funny look and he says, Calvin Nichols. I'm Emily's brother. Detective Sherman jots this down. Were you here on the night of September 2nd? No, ma'am. I live in Arizona. She nods and shuts her flip pad. Thank you for your time today, folks. She turns toward me. Thank you, Max. I know it's not easy to talk about this, but any details you can remember could be a big help to us. She stands like she's ready to leave. Is that all? Mom asks. There must be something else we can do. We appreciate your cooperation, Detective Sherman says. This is a difficult case. Unless some new information comes to light, we may never know what happened to Will. Her words land like a punch to the gut. You're giving up? Detective Sherman gives me the pity smile again. Hopefully when Will is brought out of sedation, he can give us some answers. What if he can't? I'm trying not to think about what that might mean. Dad squeezes my shoulder. They're doing everything they can, Max. We have to be patient and trust the process. But it sounds like she's giving up. I assure you that is not the case, Detective Sherman says with a smile. But she doesn't sound very hopeful. She excuses herself and Mom and Dad walk her to the door. Cal comes to sit by me. It's okay, bud, he says softly, but his voice is shaky too. I wonder if he's thinking what I'm thinking, that unless something changes, they are never going to figure this out. Something happened to Will out there, something that left him unconscious by the side of the road with damp clothes and water in his lungs. Joey says he doesn't know anything. Jared and Luca said Will left after I did. Will can't speak for himself, and Detective Sherman has done everything she can, which just leaves me. I'm it.